The Eternal Pact, The Price Beneath the Stars, Part 2. The Presence That Watches. Al-Hassan did not breathe. He did not blink. He did not move. Because something stood there, watching him. At the edge of the darkness, just beyond where the moonlight could touch, the figure remained still. Too still. It had no sound, no movement, no presence that belonged to the natural world. Yet it was there, and it was looking at him. At first, Al-Hassan told himself it was a trick of the mind. Years of sleepless nights, endless exposure, the slow erosion of rest. It was bound to affect him. Yes, he whispered to himself, barely moving his lips. It is nothing. But deep inside, something ancient stirred. A knowing, a memory of the warning he had once dismissed. If you break this rule, the wealth will not leave you. It will consume you instead. The words returned like a curse, and for the first time in years, Al-Hassan felt something he had buried beneath layers of wealth and power: fear. He turned his head slowly. The figure did not move. Its outline remained distorted, like heat waves rising from desert sand. Its form was not fixed. It shifted, subtly, as if it was not entirely bound to the world. And its eyes, they did not glow. They absorbed light. Al-Hassan closed his eyes, just for a moment. When he opened them again, the figure was closer. His heart slammed against his chest. Still, he did not move, because something told him movement would acknowledge it, and acknowledgement would make it real. So he lay there, under the open sky, pretending not to see the thing that had come to watch him. When dawn broke, the figure vanished, just like that. No trace, no footprints, nothing. But Al-Hassan knew. It had not gone. It had only waited. That morning, his empire demanded his attention. Meetings, contracts, expansion deals, a new logistics partnership, a chain of luxury developments, foreign investors eager to align with his influence. Everything was moving faster than ever. Wealth poured in like a river that could not be stopped. But something had changed. Every success felt heavier. Every gain came with a strange tightening pressure in his chest, as if the wealth was no longer just his, but something that was binding him further. By evening, Al-Hassan made a decision he had avoided for years. He went back to the market, back to the place where it all began. The herbalist was exactly where he remembered. Same position, same calm expression, same knowing eyes. "You have come back," the old man said, without looking up. Al-Hassan's voice was tight. "There is something watching me." The herbalist nodded slowly. "Yes." Silence. "You knew?" Al-Hassan demanded. "I told you the price. You told me about sleeping outside. You did not tell me about that thing." The herbalist finally looked up, and for the first time, there was something different in his expression. Not calm, not knowing, but somehow pity. "You believed the pact was a transaction," he said softly, "but it is not." Al-Hassan leaned closer. "Then what is it?" The herbalist spoke carefully. "As your wealth grows, your connection to the open sky deepens." "I know that," Al-Hassan snapped. "That is why I cannot sleep under a roof." The herbalist shook his head. "That is only the surface." He leaned forward. "What you made was not an agreement for wealth. It was an invitation." The words hung in the air like a storm about to break. "An invitation to what?" Al-Hassan whispered. The herbalist's voice dropped. "To something that lives beyond shelter. There are forces older than kingdoms," the herbalist continued. forces that do not live in houses or land or water. They exist where nothing contains them. The sky. Al-Hassan felt cold, even in the heat of Kano. The keeper is not a spirit you control. It is not a servant. It is not a giver. It is a witness to ambition. And when ambition grows too large, the herbalist paused. It comes closer. Al-Hassan's voice shook. What does it want? The herbalist did not answer immediately. Instead, he asked, "Have you been sleeping well?" Al-Hassan laughed bitterly. "You know I haven't." "Have you felt watched?" "Yes." "Has it come closer?" Al-Hassan froze. The herbalist nodded slowly. "Then it has begun. There is something you are not told, because most men never survive long enough to reach this stage." Al-Hassan's throat tightened. What stage? The stage where wealth is no longer the reward, but the bait. Silence swallowed the space between them. The keeper does not take your wealth, it takes you. That night, Al-Hassan did something dangerous, something unthinkable. As the sun began to set, he walked towards his mansion. The guards watched in confusion. "Sir?" Al-Hassan did not answer. He reached the door, placed his hand on the handle, and paused. For years he had obeyed the rule, never entering after sunset, never testing the boundary, never questioning the pact. But now he had a question that demanded an answer. Was the rule protecting him or trapping him? The sky darkened. The first stars appeared. Al-Hassan opened the door and stepped inside. For a moment, nothing happened. He stood in the grand hall, marble floors, golden chandeliers, luxury beyond imagination. And for the first time in years, he felt safe. A slow smile spread across his face. "Nothing," he whispered. "Nothing is happening." Then the lights flickered. The air changed. The temperature dropped. And somewhere, deep within the house, something moved. Not a sound, not a step, but a shift, a presence. Al-Hassan turned slowly, his heart pounding. The walls felt closer. The ceiling felt lower. The space no longer felt like his. And then he saw it. Standing at the far end of the hall was the figure. But this time, it was not outside. It was inside. The impossible had happened. The thing that belonged to the open sky had followed him into shelter. Al-Hassan staggered backward. "No, no, no!" The herbalist's words echoed in his mind. "If you break the rule, it will not leave you. It will consume you instead." The figure stepped forward, slowly, deliberately, and with each step, the lights dimmed. The walls seemed to stretch, the space distorted, as if the house itself was being swallowed. Al-Hassan ran, through hallways, past rooms he had never used, through doors that suddenly felt unfamiliar. But no matter where he turned, the figure was there. Closer, 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 until it stood directly in front of him. For the first time, he saw its face. It was not monstrous, not grotesque, not terrifying in the way he expected. It looked like him, but not the man he was, the man he had become. A version of himself stripped of everything human, eyes empty, skin hollow, presence endless. "You wanted everything," the figure said. Its voice was not loud, but it filled the entire space. "And now you will become everything." Al-Hassan fell to his knees. "I don't want it," he cried. "I don't want the wealth anymore." The figure tilted its head. "That is not how it works." In a moment of desperation, Al-Hassan ran. Out of the house, out of the door, back into the open sky. He collapsed onto the ground, gasping, shaking. And just like that, the presence stopped. The house stood still again, silent, empty. But Al-Hassan knew he had not escaped. He had only returned to the only place it would allow him to exist. Years later, the story of Al-Hassan became more than a rumor, more than a legend. It became a warning. Yes, he remained the richest man. Yes, his empire continued to grow, but no one envied him anymore, because everyone knew he did not own his wealth. His wealth owned him. In a world driven by ambition, success is often measured by how much one can acquire. More money, more power, more influence. But Al-Hassan's story reveals a deeper truth. Not all wealth is freedom. Sometimes what we chase becomes what traps us. The true danger is not in wanting success. It is in wanting it without limits, without balance, without understanding the cost. Because every gain demands a sacrifice, and some sacrifices are not worth what they give in return. Before you chase everything, ask yourself, what are you willing to lose? And more importantly, will you still recognize yourself when you gain it? Drop your replies in the comment section and tell us where you're watching from. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more amazing African folk tales and storytelling.